I think people today don't read like mythology and culture and like religion, and like they don't see sort of like these aspirational figures that people in the past used to. Like, you
Hmm.
know, gods are there because they're very inspiring. And like you look at these images that people drew in ancient times, and like all of these people look very beautiful. You don't see like fat people in these images. You don't see
Hmm.
like they're very well put together. And I think as a society, we've lost touch with that kind of, we've lost touch with the culture. And so
Yeah.
then, we're just trying to make up rules based on what we think is right and what makes us feel good, versus thinking about this from a meta perspective and being like, all right, let's zoom out and think about like what is good for society and what is good for, society in the long run, rather than like, okay, what makes us feel good today? It's like, yeah, if we accept everyone for whoever they are, and like, even if they are lazy and fat and don't want to get their shit together, I think, I don't know, like it just leads to very bad places.
Yeah. And, maybe to some extent, it's the emergence and growth of cultural Marxism and postmodern ideology, right? Because I think, 30 years ago, whether it was true or not, I think most people would agree that there was a common standard for beauty. And some people would fit that, and some people would not fit that, and certain cultures might fit it more than others. And so I think maybe there would be some valid criticism to say that there should not be just one standard of beauty. Okay, fine. But then the leap beyond that would be that now there's actually zero standards of beauty. Everybody's beautiful. And I think that this pairs very well with the growth of the self-esteem movement and the increase in hedonism within our culture. Because if you have a population that simply cannot be confronted with reality and you want to sell things to them, you can't tell them the truth. You need to lie to
Yeah.
them. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of what I think is going on.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, I think we've, as a society, become very soft,
Yeah.
by removing things that make us feel like, I think a lot of these things, like, okay, having standards, for example, when those standards are there, people feel insecure about themselves if they're not meeting those standards.
Right.
And so rather than owning up to that insecurity and being like, this is an area of my self-development that I have to work on, it's like, all right, let's just pretend that this is bullshit, and we shouldn't do any of this. And then we
Right.
just degrade. And so
Right.
I think people just have lost the ability to deal with their own insecurities in some way.